Welcome back to the Caregiver Minute, where every weekday family and professional caregivers gather to refine their skills, gain inspiration, and prepare to serve. For those of us who are in the workforce, we tend to spend most of our day at the office or on the job site. It's a major part of our waking hours. So it's no surprise that when people are living with dementia, a major lens through which they see the world is the world of work. About 12 years ago, I served a man named Jim, who had worked as a civil engineer on some of the largest dam and bridge projects in the western United States. And one night, he just didn't seem to want to go to bed. We were getting stuck as a team, trying to bring him into his room, get him settled down, only to have him come out a few minutes later. It wasn't until we started seeing things through the lens of work that it all made sense. I had a conversation with him in which he said, "I can't believe this. The home office hasn't even sent any backup. I can't leave all this stuff out here without supervision all night long. I'm going to have to stay up." It was easier once I understood that he was distressed that there was no one to watch over the job site and that people might come and steal the materials from the project if we didn't have someone else to watch it. I was able to introduce him to some of the people that the home office sent, aka the rest of the staff, and he was able to settle down and let go of his concern and have a good night's rest. I know of a man who would get up every morning at one of the veterans' homes, and he would get ready for the day, and he would go out and sit on a bench waiting for the bus to come. Now, there wasn't a bus that came to that particular bus stop, but the staff knew that he was trying to catch the bus to go to work. So they'd give him a few minutes out there on the bus bench, watching from a window, and they would walk out and very apologetically let him know that the office had called, and they were really sorry, but they had forgotten to tell him that the office was closed that day. They were doing some repairs on the building, and they forgot to tell him. Or they'd let him know that the bus company called, and that route had been canceled for the day. Or they'd give any one of a lot of other excuses why he didn't need to go to work that particular day. And he'd come back in the building and go get busy in the activity room with whatever was going on. Once we recognize that a huge part of people's day throughout most of their adult lives is spent at work, then we can start to unravel and do the detective work to figure out how they're interpreting the current context. This fact is another reminder that life history really is the most important tool we have to work with. Once we understand what the past looked like for people, it gives us an ability to understand how they're interpreting the current context and how they see themselves. It wouldn't do us any good to walk in the room to a retired general and presume to tell him when it's time to get up and when he's going to take his pills and when he needs to use the bathroom and so on. We're probably going to get further to walk in and say, "Reporting for duty, sir." So today I invite you to consider how the people you're serving are viewing the world through the lens of their prior work. Were they a homemaker who was busy cooking and cleaning and taking care of children? Did they go to an office? Did they work outside on a construction site? If you can understand the kinds of things that they used to do, it will be easier to make sense of how they're making sense of the world. And once we see that, we're able to approach in a lot more helpful ways. I hope that's helpful to you and the people you serve, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another episode of the Caregiver Minute.